Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're taking something you literally do every single morning, getting dressed, and turning it completely upside down. We're going to dive into the fascinating psychology and crazy cultural evolution behind our clothes. Because sure, we just throw these garments on every day, but there are actually some incredibly deep secrets of human history woven right into them. I want you to literally look down at your own outfit right now. Go ahead. Ask yourself, why did you actually choose it? Because I promise you, the answer isn't just about what happened to be clean in your closet this morning. The real answer spans thousands of years. It's this massive, epic story of survival, of magic, of societal power, and yeah, definitely a little bit of vanity too. So, to truly understand our wardrobes, here's our roadmap for today. We'll hit defining the fabric, the psychological core, the four pillars, extremes of adornment, and finally, the modern reflection. Let's just jump right in. Okay, section 1, defining the fabric. We really need to untangle the everyday words we use to describe what we wear because we tend to use them interchangeably, but they are actually very distinct. Think of it like this. First, you've got apparel. That is simply the raw, physical matter. We're talking the knits, the leather, the actual fabric itself. Then you have costume, which is entirely about context. The word actually derives from custom, and it evolves from very specific societal environments, history, and rituals. And then finally, fashion. Fashion is the social process. It's the wider spectrum of aesthetics where a newly introduced style actually becomes accepted by a large group of consumers. So whatever you're wearing right now, it sits perfectly in the middle of that intersection. Moving right along to section 2, the psychological core. Now that we have our terms straight, let's dig into the invisible drivers that actually dictate our wardrobes. Before we get into specific historical examples, I want you to keep this mental framework in mind. Our clothing choices are basically guided by 3 invisible principles, and they're built upon 4 structural pillars. This is going to be our lens for the rest of the explainer. So, fashion historian James Laver proposed that we dress based on 3 interlocking motivations. First up is utility. That's just your fundamental drive for physical comfort and practical function. But let's be real, humans are way more complex than just wanting to stay warm, right? So we add seduction, which is our innate, powerful desire to attract, to please ourselves, and to please others. And lastly, hierarchy. This is the absolute imperative to visually establish our rank and our societal power. Literally, every single garment you own leans heavily on at least one of these 3 principles. Which brings us to section 3. The 4 pillars. This is where we see how those psychological forces actually physically manifest across the globe. Get this, every garment ever worn by humans throughout all of history serves one or more of these 4 foundational purposes. We've got protection as a baseline physical necessity. We have ritualistic uses for magic and myth. We have identification to show off our rank or profession. And we have adornment, which is just the pure, unadulterated pursuit of beauty. Let's break these down real quick. Let's look at the sheer extremes of our first pillar, protection. Think about the Arctic Eskimo, relying on closely fitted, multi-layered fur parkas to aggressively trap body heat, or the Ainu of northern Japan, who literally wear waterproof fish skins. But then flip that completely and look at the Saharan Tuareg. Their primary threat is the heat, so they wear these incredibly long robes and loose trousers made of light cotton. It creates this essential air circulation to prevent dehydration under the blazing sun, while loose head coverings shield them from sandstorms. Protection looks entirely different depending on what you're trying to survive. Now for our second pillar, ritualistic. This is where clothing gets supernatural. Egyptian pharaohs used to wear actual lion's claws and tails because they believed it would let them literally absorb the bravery and raw vigor of the beast. Or consider cowrie shells. Historically, women used these extensively in their clothing specifically to counteract the curse of sterility, all because the shells aesthetically resembled female anatomy. It's fascinating. We literally wear things to draw mystical power from them. Our third pillar, identification, acts as a brutally honest social compass. Historically, this was incredibly strict. In medieval Europe, nobility were protected by sumptuary laws. That meant materials like velvet and colors like purple were legally restricted to the elite. You could actually be severely punished just for wearing the wrong color. But it gets darker. In pre-Inca Peru, the Machia deliberately stripped their prisoners of their clothing entirely. Rendering them nude was an intentional tactic to erase their rank and strip away their humanity. Clothing literally proves you belong to society. This identification pillar also applies to personal milestones. Think of them as badges of life. Uric Turkish nomad girls would line the borders of their silk headcloths with coins to clearly broadcast that they were ready for marriage. In India, a streak of crimson sindoor powder signals marital status. Or think of a tribal shaman wearing highly specific clothes, masks, and animal skins to single themselves out as a figure endowed with supernatural power. It's designed to make you feel awe just by looking at them. And finally, the fourth pillar, adornment. Humans are totally unique in our pursuit of beauty. We started with what you could call the natural canvas, tribal societies beautifying themselves with indigenous materials chosen purely for their color and shape. We're talking seeds, vibrant feathers, and seashells. But over time, that same instinct drove us to the crafted canvas. We invented immensely complex, labor-intensive methods like tanning hides, weaving, dyeing, and printing fabrics. And why? Honestly, simply to pander to human vanity and enhance how we look.
All right, Section 4, Extremes of Adornment. This is where things get wild. Because what exactly happens when our desire for seduction and hierarchy completely overpowers practical utility? Well, the results are pretty intense.
Humanity has gone to some truly dramatic lengths just to look a certain way. Take the poulain from medieval France. These exaggerated shoes reached lengths of up to 24 inches for royalty. They were so long, you literally had to tie the toe to your ankle with a ribbon just so you could take a step. Then you've got the Victorian corset, which constantly constricted the ribcage to the point where simple breathing was a struggle, all for a tiny waist. Or the 18th century panier, which forced women's hips to be so immensely wide that architects actually had to redesign buildings and widen doors and stairways just to let them walk through. Utility was just thrown entirely out the window for status. And this intense drive doesn't stop at fabric. It extends to the permanent, physical reshaping of the body itself. We saw this in the now abolished custom of Chinese foot binding, which created an artificial heel known as the lotus foot, considered the absolute ultimate expression of feminine status. Or the Sudanese Kichipo women who reshape their bodies using large circular lip plates. Those are so essential to their identity that they consider themselves utterly undressed in public without them. Or the Padang women, artificially elongating their necks through a heavy, stacked series of solid brass rings. We also heavily modify our skin's natural canvas. Certain African tribal traditions utilize natural skin irritants to create beautifully raised scars, permanently marking the individual as a stoic, adult member of the tribe. Then there's tattooing, providing indelible status, from intricate Maori facial tattoos commanding esteem to the Japanese yakuza using them for symbolic affinity. And of course, sacred body painting, like Congolese girls using vibrant red camwood oil, or the highly elaborate, transformative makeup of Kathakali dancers and geishas. Finally, we arrive at Section 5, the modern reflection. Let's synthesize all these wild historical extremes and see how they mirror our own society today. Because honestly, we really haven't changed all that much. To tie it all together, look at how a single ancient Egyptian outfit perfectly combines all four pillars into one unified look. The shenty linen wrapped around the waist, that's pillar 1, protection. The ceremonial elements connecting the wearer to the goddess Hathor, pillar 2, ritualistic. The large, transparent, draped haik worn exclusively by male royalty, pillar 3, identification. And the intricate pleating and superfine, translucent material meant purely to flex their aesthetic superiority, that's pillar 4, adornment. Boom! One outfit, 4 pillars. And when you draw a line from the past straight to the present, the connection is totally undeniable. Those ancient cowrie shells worn to ward off sterility, well, today they've just become our modern amulets, our sports rings, and the good luck charms we wear to court fortune. The Thracian and Maori tribal tattoos meant to signal rank, those are today's sailor, biker, and youth tattoos marking subculture allegiance. And those terrifying sumptuary laws restricting purple silk to royalty, today they've just taken the form of exclusive auteur labels and massive luxury price tags that act as a gate, keeping certain high-status aesthetics completely out of reach. The Museum of Human Fabric puts it so brilliantly. Our skin is just the first layer we are born with, but our clothing? That is our chosen identity. It is literally the story we decide to tell the world every single morning. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to look at your outfit one more time. Seriously, look at it. Ask yourself, which of Leviere's principles, utility, seduction, or hierarchy, secretly guided your hand in the closet today? And what exactly is your chosen identity broadcasting to the rest of the world? Something to think about. Keep learning, keep analyzing, and I'll see you in the next explainer.